national anthem, please.
Eternal Father, bless our land, guide us with thy mighty hand, keep us free from evil parts, be our light through countless hearts, to our leaders, great defender, grant true wisdom from above. Justice, truth be ours forever, Jamaica, land we love. Jamaica, 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 land we love. Teach us true respect for all, stir response to duty's call, strengthen us the weak to cherish, give us vision lest we perish, knowledge send us, Heavenly Father, grant true wisdom from above, justice, truth be ours forever, Jamaica, land we love. Jamaica, 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 land we love.
You may be seated.
Once again, good morning. Let me welcome you all to this our General Council meeting. I want to acknowledge some students in the gallery from Winston and teachers from the Winston Jones High School, Malgoley High School. I gather that the New Forest High School will be here shortly. He's here, okay, New Forest High School. There are members of the SDC civic clubs in schools, and I want to thank them for coming this morning, led by the SDC officer.
And the Auditor General said, if Manchester can do it, all the other corporations can do it too. I was so proud when I hear the news. So let me congratulate you. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
I hear the rumors of the gentleman. I don't want to call his name because I don't think it's fit for me to call name when people are trying to create problems. But we at the Manchester Municipal Corporation takes the people's business seriously. We deal with accountability, transparency, and responsibility. And so therefore, every member of staff knows that as the leader of the team, and this team is both the JLP and the PMP, is not no one team, because the Manchester Municipal Corporation is not a two-sided corporation. It is a one-sided corporation. Everybody is responsible for what goes on in here. And so we just want to say that if the Auditor General of our accounts are being looked at up to 2023 now, therefore they are free to come in and look, because the only person that has that authority to come in and look is the Auditor General, and if the Auditor General has given us a already, I mean, I don't know what they will be coming for to look for, and we have not, and they have not found anything improper. And so I want to thank the CEO and the staff for their work. I know we still have a little thing left to be done in the accounts department in terms of some other members of staff, but that has not stopped us from making sure our accounts are at least up to date and that we're doing the right thing. Again, I want to thank also you, the directors, because I know sometimes when Brother Phil hear us quarreling and cussing him wonder what is happening, but it is that we need to do the right thing so that we are in the right place. Again, I want to thank the sir, and one day I'll buy you all lunch. All right. Number 4, may we take corrections on page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. Page 7. Page 8. So the minute short is what happened that day. Can we take the motion for the confirmation?
I so move.
Okay, moved by Councillor Omar Robinson, seconded by Councillor David Knight. All in favor? I have it all. Any abstentions? Let me do it properly so that the students can learn the thing. The ayes have it. Any abstentions? No. Okay. We take matters arising on page 1. Page 2.
Mr. Chairman, as it relates to the matter pertaining to street lights, we have completed so far 10. There are 5 that are still outstanding. Don't remember them all, but I know the Christian, the Mile Gully, the Road,
Cricket and the Royal Flat.
John's Hall, oh yes, and the Craighead Division. Those 5 are still outstanding. All the others have been completed.
Okay, page 3. Go ahead, Councillor Wilson.
Thank you, Your Worship. On the matter of the street light, I would just like to ask a few questions. Read the street light. How many officers are involved in the inspection of the street lights? Because we have 15 divisions. And this, from March of last year, I was asked to submit some street lights, which was done. And up to today, date and time, the street lights in John's Hall Division, no officer come to look at what I have recommended. And secondly, if we don't have as much officers to do all divisions, what are the requirements? What are the qualifications to be an inspector of street lights? And secondly, and thirdly, how longer are we supposed to sit in this council and wait just to be handed or for 10 street lights per division to be fixed or installed?
From my recollection, the new street lights, when we submitted the request, we were asked, or they sent back to say that it should be inspected, the areas should be inspected and marked or whatever it is. But I don't think all the technical team is involved. I think it's the GIS officer that has the responsibility to, because it's a matter that you have to map where the street lights are supposed to be and all that. So it's more of a geotechnical situation, and it's only one officer that deals with that. So it might be taking some time. My problem is that I don't think the ministry should wait until all 15 divisions are completed for them to start doing the installation. So we'll follow up with the PS, sir, to ask whether or not if they can commence installing these street lights while the others are being prepared, because it's one officer that is doing the GIS matter and he has other responsibilities. All right? Go ahead, Councillor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In regards to the inspections of the street lights and those who are inspecting it, in my division, for example, we took half a day to inspect all the 10 streets light, all the pole that the street lights will be on. So I don't think it is taking so much from the officer to inspect the area, because my division, we drove it out in half of a day. So if it is that we have 15 days can inspect, cover all the parish, right? But the thing about it, I am in agreement with you where when we get the permission now to install all these street lights, how long it's going to take? So if it is that one division is completed, then the ministry need to come in and install those, and we take it one division per division so until we are through.
Okay. Go ahead, Councillor Robinson. You had something to say?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. On the matter of streetlights, we are so anxious to get these going in our communities because the fear factor with the darkness, it has gotten worse by the minute. But one thing I want our council to do, since we are on the auditing aspect, we want to audit all the streetlights. Are we paying for streetlights that are working? Are JPS charging for some that are malfunctioning? Because I remember submitting defective streetlights and they are still there, not working. So I would want this council to lead from front to ask for a full audit of the street lighting program, because there are areas with just the structure and no light. Thank you.
All right. As far as I'm concerned, our last two YSEP teams were asked to do, or last three were asked to do the auditing of the streetlights, just in their communities or wherever it is. But just to remind you that that matter is for discussion when the JPS officer is here at the Roads and Works or the infrastructure meeting, because some of the questions would be answered by him. But one of the problems you have too is because these street lights, some of these lights are placed on poles where there is no numbering on them or no numbers on them, because I've been trying to find a few of them. I can't find them. And one of the other things, as we discussed the other day with the officer, is that persons appear to be members or workers from JPS would go into a community to say they're repairing street lights, and by the time they leave, the street light is neither here, neither there, and they are gone. And when we would have checked, they are not members from the Jamaica Public Services Company. But we will have that discussion and to see if the ministry would be able to at least advance the works for where these street lights are concerned. Did I see your hand, Councillor Mitchell?
Good morning, everybody.
None.
I just want to matter the discussion with the PS. Since as the new councillors are crying about the new street lights, and all of us, because what I want in the discussion with the PS, that the matter of the retroactive street lights, my 40 or 50, still be on the table. Because
That has to be discussed when time comes.
all right.
Thank you. Any other matter on page 3? On the matter, I see an heading here which deals with Newley Road. That matter must go to infrastructure, as the councillor pointed out. That's a matter for discussion at infrastructure. We will not discuss it here. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. Page 7. Page 8. May I declare matters arising closed? And we are now at item number 6, reports from agencies. And we will take our fire report as usual first. And I see SDC, and we will take an update from the Inspector Lloyd from the Manchester Police. So in that order.
Your Worship, members, officers of the municipality, councillors, fellow agency members, members in the gallery, good morning.
Morning.
Jamaica Fire Brigade report for the month of February. January, 2025. We are moving into the dry period, and what we are seeing is an uptick in the number of fires. For the month of January, we had 129 emergencies, 104 of which were genuine, 90 of those were classified as bush fires. And what we can look forward to as the days progress and the time gets drier, that number will definitely go up. Compared to December in 2024, we had only 29 of those emergencies being genuine and 104 of them being genuine this time around. We saw a slight uptake in our malicious false calls, and we are still appealing, especially to our councillors, as you go out there and meet with your constituencies, dissuade them from making these kind of calls to the department. It is stressing both on the men and the resources that are available to us, the wear and tear on the vehicle, the unnecessary use of fuel to go from place to place where there's not a genuine emergency and somebody else may be in need at that particular time. We had 7 structural fires, 4 of which were residential, and 3 were commercial. Thankfully, there was no loss of life, injuries, or no one was left homeless in these situations. We saw a decrease in the loss to property. We had only $4.2 million being lost. We were able to save over $1.6 billion as a result of the work that we would have put in. Our fire prevention section continues to function as the mandate, and we find ourselves, especially with instruction from our minister, to pay special attention to structures, and so we have been ensuring that our inspection has been ramped up. Our education in schools and with our businesses, we continue to improve in those particular areas. Now, I have a report here that I'm quite sure every councillor will be happy to hear. The council should be happy to hear this one. Between November 24th and February 6th, we were able to successfully map all fire hydrants in the parish of Manchester. We recognize that of those mapped, we had 353 only that is working.
So how much in all that?
955 hydrants. 353 that is in working condition. 335 that is in dire need of repair. 201 that are not working. That mean when it's not working, mean either water not being in the space or valves, flange damage, all of those things. And there are 66 others, and these are our challenge areas that we will be seeking the assistance of the municipality to deal with. Persons are still enclosing hydrants onto their properties. Persons are still covering over hydrant pit valves on the boundaries of the roadway and their property. And those are some of the challenges. We also will be writing to the NWA from our office, because there are some that they have covered over when they have done road repairs. And as such, most of them are in critical areas where if there is an emergency, it will hinder us from accessing these hydrants in order to effect firefighting capabilities. That, Your Worship, is the report of the Jamaica Fire.
Thank you very much. But just one quick question. The 66, you have a listing, or are they?
Yes, we do have a listing. We have the listing, we have the premises, we have all that.
All right.
We would have
Could
to
you-
geospatial.
All right. Could
to
you
do this.
send it to us to see if we can
Definitely.
do something about that?
Definitely.
All right. Councillor Mitchell?
I just want to congratulate the officer on the report, and I'm very happy that this is the first time I'm here and having such a detailed report in the numbers. But let me just say, I would like to hear from the officer, if it's possible now or the next meeting, the time frame for the 335 that needs urgent attention, the 201 that is not working, because it could affect all 15 of us as councillors. And you already asked a question about the 66 that is outstanding. And I would like also, well, that was answered already in terms of the ongoing checks, because it was completed. So I want to thank the fire department.
All right. Any other question? Go ahead, Councillor Baker.
Thank you, Your Worship. Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Just want to know, are there plans in place with all that you're doing? Do you still have plans in place to install new hydrants going forward in areas that is needed?
You must have water to have hydrants, you know. Go ahead, Councillor.
Chairman, Mr. Powell, I'm heartened by your report. I just want to know that at one stage they had a hydrant team that would go around to repair these hydrants. Is that team still in place? Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Any other questions? Any other questions for the fire?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I haven't heard you mention anything about the trucks. Do we have all trucks up and running, or how we steer with transportation?
Good. Go ahead. Councillor Brown.
Your Worship, Mr. Powell, I just want to commend you this morning for the good job that you are doing, and keep it up, sir.
All right, thank you. Huh? No, you talk already, no, Mario. I don't know if Mr. Pearl wants you to ask any more questions. Anyway, quick, 20 seconds. 20 seconds, you're talking too much now, 20 seconds.
Thank you. I just want to, I just want to ask the officer, of all the numbers that is already listed in the parish, all the fire hydrants, in total, do they have a recommendation of what's needed also? And secondly, the question about the Belfield fire hydrant, that's promised.
Okay, thank you. Okay, officer, you can.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm going to twin some of them because some of the responses are similar. As it relates to time frame, Councillor Mitchell, Councillor Morant Baker, installation, yes, we have a program. So in the initial, we'll start between the 17th of February to the 21st. And I must also make known that we have to give credit to the National Water Commission. They have been working with us, providing support. Wherever we need excavation to be done, they are always there, and we are collaborating to ensure that we get this done. So between the 17th to the 21st, we have a hydrant to be replaced at Balvini Drive, replacing a barrel at Hummingbird Drive. We will replace another barrel at New Acres Drive, 11 New Acres Drive. We're putting in a spindle at 13A Caledonia Avenue. A new installation will be in Redberry, Councillor. A replacement will be done at Hatfield Plaza. We're doing one at Melrose Terrace, packing a valve at 23 New Acres Drive. We're excavating a buried hydrant, and we hope to rehabilitate that one at New Green Road. And where there's a covered valve and New Green Road Mandeville, we'll be addressing that one also. As it relates to units availability, yes, all our trucks are up and running. We are thankful we have a water tanker, 2 pumpers, and we have a utility vehicle that we use to supply additional manpower wherever that is needed from time to time. Councillor Mara Mitchell, as it relates to the Belfield hydrant, yes, that is on the radar. And the response, Councillor, to the hydrant team, we are working with both the
Era 4 and the Era 3 hydrant team. We have 2 hydrant teams, and from time to time, whichever is available, we bring them in to ensure that the work gets done. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. SDC?
Your Worship, the Mayor, councillors, members from the municipality, members of the gallery, good morning. Right, so SDC report for the month of January. So during this period, between January to March, we usually have this period, a low period for us, where we review, update our strengths and weaknesses within the communities to see how best we can go out and do some more work to build the communities. However, there are some activities that were carried over from last quarter for us, which we are currently working on, some of which are debate. We have started putting together some, well, we put together some moves for our debate, which will be happening on March 12 and 19 at the Youth Innovation Center, and this will be done between our SDC civic clubs in school, which you notice some of them are here today. Now for the SDC clubs in school, there are just 4 participating schools. We have 9 of them which are functional, but only 4 of them are going to participate in the debate. The 4 schools are Winston Jones High, New Forest High, Mile Gully High, and Manchester High School. The moods that they'll be doing are be it resolved, cell phones should be banned from school. This is for round 1. And be it resolved, music which promotes violence and other illicit activities are linked to the growing rate of crime and violence in our society. Or youth club quiz, which is something that we would have been doing over the years. We had a pause on it, so we wanted to bring back some activities to our youth clubs. And so we have been planning, working together with the Youth Innovation Center. We'll be having our youth club on March 6th quiz. There are 6 youth clubs that have opted to participate. They are from Lancaster, Alligator Pond, Poros, Huntley, and Huntley. So the teams are participating. I would have given letters to our councillors with regard, well, for the schools that are participating. So only the councillors with participating youth clubs would have gotten letters. Read that, where we crave your support. Our profile, we have been currently updating the profile of Mile Gully. So we had our wealth assessment in Mile Gully at the primary school on the 28th of January, where Councillor Kennedy would have participated in that session. And of course, we continue to work with our councillors and our various agencies to ensure that we build and strengthen communities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Any questions for the officer from SDC? Only that I think I missed you for a little while. I don't know why I think so. Okay. Go ahead, Miss Councillor Morton Baker.
Morning, Ms. Stewart. I noticed that one of my clubs here are in the group, but do we still have consultation with the councillors of the respective divisions as we used to before? Because I'm not hearing anything. Our consultation date where we plan the agenda going forward as before.
Any other questions?
Yes, Your Worship.
All right.
Thank you very much, sir. I just want to commend SDC on the work that they have been doing in the various community. It was yesterday, SDC, along with some other sponsors, we had a spelling bee competition in the Wallaston clusters of schools. And that was initiated by the former Councillor Leroy Mitchell. Yeah. And so we continue to do the same thing. And yeah, clap.
Yeah, man.
Yes. And so the spelling bee would have been renamed, and it was the Wallaston cluster of schools. And it's now named the Leroy Mitchell Spelling Bee Competition. And so it was an initiative by myself to ask them to rename the competition so that the former councillor legacy, the legacy that he could have move on. So I want to commend SDC for the work.
Thank you. Yes, Councillor Robinson. I know you're going to say it, but go ahead. Go ahead. You were before him. Sit down. Come,
Who was
Councillor
before?
Brown.
Who was
No,
before?
sit down. The lady.
Who was before?
Lady before, gentlemen. Sit down.
No, if I'm Mama Cherry, man, oh gosh, man. If I'm Mama Cherry, man.
I would like a reminder, a letter, or her recent notes, and that was in my vision.
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And you know, we must give the flowers where they deserve because SDC, they have been active in the Alligator Pond Division. The officer is on the ground. Whenever meetings are called, Mr. Brian Clark is there representing SDC. And the mere fact that students are here from New Forest High School, also in my division, and I provided transportation, cooperation and collaboration with SDC. So the thing is, for us to be active on the ground and be visible, working for the people, if SDC don't call you, you call them. Just because you want to be a part of all social programs to transform the lives of our people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just before Miss, I just want to remind the councillors that it does no harm to involve the SDC because we are now living in a situation where youths are mostly our population and we need to involve them in our doings. And I want to congratulate the SDC, especially when I hear from Alligator Pond what is going. But at the same time, let me remind the students that you cannot participate in the meetings. You can hold your comments until afterwards when you meet your council and ask questions, but you can't clap or anything like that, all right? Okay, go ahead.
All right, yes, with regards to Councillor Morant Baker's question, so yes, we still do meet with our councillors. For this period, we had only met with Northwest, and then after we had gotten directive that our governance department would have been undertaking the meetings and they would have been putting a document together. So that's how we were on pause and we didn't get to continue the others. However, we continue to work with the individual councillors accordingly. And of course, thanks Councillor David Knight for mentioning the Wollaston Division cluster of primary schools, because I would have mentioned it in my February report next month, but thanks for sharing that we had that competition yesterday.
Councillor Bryce, please. But I want to really congratulate Councillor Knight and his team, because not very often a political person would start something and it is carried on by another political person in the same division. And it shows that we are all big people here, we are growing up, and that is how the people of Jamaica wants to see their business operate. You don't start something and you waste money and then somebody else come and they waste some money, but you continue, because we should be far gone beyond the party politics now and looking at the people's politics. So again, sir, I want to thank you. All right? No, well, I understand. We have Inspector Lloyd with us, and may I caution councillors that Inspector Lloyd is representing the superintendent, and so some of the questions she may not have answers for, and to also understand that where there are sensitive issues, you can discuss with her outside of the meeting. All right? Go ahead, Inspector Lloyd.
Good morning, everybody. Reporting for the Jamaica Constabulary Force, the Manchester Division. And I'm reporting for the period January 1 to February 8, 2025. The Manchester Division recorded 11 serious crimes in comparison to 24 for the corresponding period in 2024. This indicates a decrease of 13 or 54%. For the period under review, no murder had been reported for the division. In comparison, for the period January 1 to February 8, 2024, where we had 5 murders recorded. So we have seen a decrease of 5 or 100%. We continue to work in partnership with all our stakeholders to ensure that Manchester Division remains a safe place for us to live, do business, and raise families.
Thank you. Okay, I see Councillor, yeah man, it's short and spicy. Councillor Carl Smith.
Thank you, Your Worship. Let me first congratulate the Manchester Police on the reduction of serious crime and 100% reduction in the murder rate in the parish. But there's a few questions I'm not sure if you can answer, but can you verify if there's in fact a curfew in the Mandeville or the parish, the area? And if there is in fact a curfew, what is the time span before imposing that curfew for informing citizens that there will be a curfew? Is it a fact that the police vehicle does drive around and say, lock up, we're having a curfew, or should the residents be notified? My reason for saying or asking this, I'm having the problem in my division. Knockpatchit persons are calling me, asking me, is there a curfew in place? No, I see it on social media. Social media is not always right, so I can't say. I tell them the truth, I'm not sure. Most shop owners, they make their little profit after 6, because most of them are bar. So after 6, that's when they make their little profit. And to say that there's a curfew imposed from 6, their livelihood is at stake. So can you shed some light on that for me, please?
Just before we ask the other question, but since I had a question in that same vein, my major problem is where that the curfew is repeated every 2 days. Every 2 days. So in truth and in fact, there's a prolonged period of curfew that is affecting, because right now the business people in Porus wants us to have a meeting. I don't know what to tell them. The little shops on the corners having real problem because curfew is on every day. How do you send the children to school? Because you might be very well trying to solve one problem and creating another problem, which is a worse problem, and then the problem you're trying to solve, now we go right back to that problem. So I think there needs to be some more discussion into what is happening, because the curfew starts at 6. I had to call one of your senior person for a church, because here it is at the church from last year. Would have planned activities to have overseas engagement persons coming in, and only to know like a day before that the place is under curfew when the church has planned activities for one entire week. How, there has to be better discussions on how we discuss, because I don't know what the law says, because you have curfew running from Friday to Sunday evening, and by the time you hear it is now Monday to Wednesday, and then you hear Wednesday to Friday. So it is continuing, and I mean, a lot of persons are hurting, a lot of persons, their pockets are feeling it, because apparently no events can be held in that. We hear it is the L belt, but no, it looks like it is an L with a Z on it, because it's much more than we had imagined. Councillor Mitchell?
Thank you, Your Worship. Let me just ask a few questions that I have noted, because it's been a while since I saw the police, but yourself and Councillor Smith would have touched on a number of it. And I just want to know, Chairman, the strategy as what the police is using as to the reasons why the curfew is there. We received numbers here today that we have not had a murder And we are happy, we are extremely happy that Manchester is where it ought to be. But the citizens will reach out to us, the 15 of us as councillors, from whichever side, to ask us the questions. Is this real? Is this true? Some of the times we are not aware. And when we reach out to the stakeholders, it is so, and there's a concern about it itself. So there is a L-belt that was discussed last year, now seem to have a C belt for Christiana. They now seem to have a double belt for William Seal and that era. So we want to be a part of the discussions because the persons would have reached out to us. And with that, Chairman, are the person's rights and liberties protected in these curfews? Are the young persons protected? Are the churchgoers protected in these curfews? Because these are questions that the citizens will ask us every single day. And I just want to know that going forward, the police will utilize our stakeholders, which is the councillors, more. Because when they want us to reach information out, they'll ask us if we can blast this out, or if they want to come to a meeting, they'll ask us to get the committee together. But yet still, we are not a part of the discussions as to the curfews. I understand that it's police business, but the councillors are normally the first persons, the first responders that the persons would reach out to. The second question I have, Chairman, relates to something on a separate matter. I am happy, extremely happy, as I said before, that there are no murders in Manchester, and I hope that it continues, and we will ensure that we do whatever we can to ensure that it continues in that. But there have been a trend, Your Worship, where in the Spur Street Division, there was an incident last week where a 76-year-old retired taxi operator left a suicide note. There was another incident also in January in Berry Hill, Ebenezer Church, where a man's body was found near to a tank. We know that the history of this parish is that we would have been a parish with tanks. And there have been many open tanks. We would have seen them across the divisions. I have 2 in my division which I want to repair to ensure that it does. But we want to know what is the exact investigation status of these 2 bodies that was found and exactly where we are in the investigation. And if so, that we need to take measures as it regards to the open tanks that is available across the entire parish.
Thank you. Yes, Councillor Robinson, then Councillor Kennedy.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Let me look quickly at the serious crimes, down 54%. Very good for Manchester Division. No murders, and that was said earlier, but my concern in the Alligator Pond Division, robberies are up. I haven't heard much in the report on robberies, but the break-ins, they are up in my division. Predial larceny. I can see that lady crying right now. Predial larceny, it is up as well. Domestic violence. And all of these reports, we want to know where they're at with the Manchester Police. What plans are in place to reduce the unsound mind people attacks on our normal people? What are the plans in place to reduce all of those attacks? It has been circulating in the news, but I haven't heard or seen any measures as it relates to these type of incidents. The people of Montpellier, and as their councillor, they are calling for more visibility in that subdivision, because I can tell you some of the things that are happening, Mr. Chair, when they powder in our whatever people house. Yes, I tell you now, if you're living by yourself, stop it. One person mustn't live, because this lady, whilst in her sleep, everything was taken from her house. And these are the type of criminals that we are dealing with. But they will tell you, they haven't seen a blue light in that area. They haven't seen the presence of police. So these persons, the hoodlums, they know this. And they have the whole day to do what they want to do. Daylight. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you. Councillor Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Turn the mic on, please.
Just want to say a special good morning to the students around the back, especially the students from the Mile Valley High School. And I see my colleague over there, Ms. Ben. Good morning. Report coming from the police, a good one, starting out. Last year when thing was heading north, we were at them. And now that is heading south, they should be commended. And I just want to encourage my colleagues to continue working with the police in whichever way or form we can. The whole crime thing, as I always say, it's not an easy thing. And it's not a police alone thing. You know, it's going to take collective effort. So anything we can do, especially as directors, let us do it in a positive way to help it continue south, right? It will just benefit all of us, whether we are PNP or we are JLP. You know, we are go up north now, we're not happy to go there anymore. So we need to build this so we can stay here, yeah? There was an initiative in the Mile Gully Division last week, led by the police force, and I want you to commend them. They had this church service in the square, which was well received by the community, well participated. And those are some of the initiatives that I think we need to spread. Thankfully, there's no curfew, no crime in the Mile Gully area, and we want to keep it that way. And I see with that divine intervention, you know, it will help. So thank you again and commendation.
Okay, so are you saying that we should leave Riot and go down to Mile Gully too?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
I'll just copy some of the things that we are doing in Mile Gully to make it peaceful.
All right. Go ahead, Councillor.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Turn your mic on, please.
I too want to commend you and the team for the efforts that are made. As you know, I'm the councillor for the Poorest Division. We had a beautiful church service down there on the 12th of January and well attended. But as you know, I'm one of the councillors. I endorse what the mayor said about Poorest and the business persons who are affected. We are bawling down there, not crying, bawling. And I cry with the people of Poorest because I know firsthand that the crime has impacted Poorest, yes. But Poorest have been shut down from October of 2024. The curfews that are there are killing Poorest. In the sense, the highway already take away the activities of Poorest because of the bypass. And now the curfews, but all I'm saying too, I came in the DSP office and I sat and I begged. Come and meet with the, yes, me cry. I will bawl if I have to for my people in Poorest. No, I beg to come and let us meet as community. Come let us talk. You cannot, it's a partnership. I am one of the councillors who work with the police to the best of my ability. We want that partnership to continue. But we are saying, come, let the business persons understand what is happening to them, to Poorest. Crime has impacted Poorest negatively, and we all know that. But at the end of the day, the business persons, they must survive. Are there, as the mayor said, is going to be double crime. Poorest is already a rural community. The most they will benefit from is their little businesses. And their business now are dying. They are dying. Don't blame the Prime Minister. It is personal responsibility. Sorry to speak across to the councillor.
Councillor Mara Mitchell, may I ask
him to control himself. But we are saying to the police.
Do not interrupt the speaker.
Thank you. Come let us talk together. The councillor, the business persons, the community, they want to talk to the police because they are confused. So come, let us meet and talk. We're willing to meet in the streets if we must, just so that the people can understand what is happening. Thank you.
Come, let us reason together, though your sins be as scarlet. Huh? Yeah, Councillor Brown, I don't know if Miss Lloyd would have all the answers, or I'm hope she have taken note of the questions. Go ahead.
Thank you, Worship. Let me commend especially the Cross Keys Police for doing a good job. One night say, Councillor, step outside. You don't see the police passing through. But some persons sleep very sound. But I know that, yes, I know.
Well, you live a roadside, man.
Yeah,
go on, it's all right.
The police, I look through the camera, sometimes it's a blue light, you see going. They do pass through. What's about us sleep so sound? You don't see them. So let me comment the Cross Keys Police. Alpha no crime, crime-free, Grovetown.
Okay. All right, Councillor Miller.
Mr. Chair, I just want to congratulate the police for the work that they have been doing. And I know in my division where there's a curfew, the Cricket side right now.
It's good for you, man. You don't have to go up there.
The person's life have been affected, Mr. Chairman, but we understand, you know, because we have to put the lives of our citizens first, you know. But I feel it for one of my good friends, right, Mr. Spencer. It has affected him very bad, officer, because he used to stay, Chairman, and drink rum until about 9, 10 o'clock. And he has to go home now early. And he's saying that he's having challenges because he used to stay home and drink rum till his wife drop asleep. And now he has to be going home early, Mr. Chairman. So I just want back some normality to that. Yeah. But I understand where it goes because we have to put the people's interests at heart, Mr. Chair. But while we are at it, Mr. Chair, it came to me again that we have still not zeroing on the place of amusement.
Yeah.
And we have to have some discussion as it relates to areas, safe space within the parishes that we can have our nightlife and the activity going forward.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Knight?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to commend the police on the report. I would have wanted to hear a little more detailed report where it's clear the last name and robberies and so on, but nevertheless. But Mr. Chairman, I stand here to ask the council that we have to think out of the box as well. Because if we are depending on the police to do the things that need to be done, we as a community have to be thinking out of the box. And I say that to say this, that it was about 2 weeks ago, we, in one of my community, had a church service, and we have invited the police. And there we have invited fire and SDC and all the other stakeholders. And Mr. Chairman, you were there too.
Okay.
Yes, the member of parliament was there and everybody. And in that meeting, we were able to get a lot of information, even from the police, and to allow the police to know that we are their friends and they are our friends. And so I would encourage other communities to do likewise. When you have church service, I guess many of us don't go to church as regular as I do. But when you have your other functions, you can invite the police.
Go ahead, Councillor Mitchell,
Yes,
if you speak.
Thank you.
Go ahead for me, sir.
And so we could think out of the box and to see how we can engage the police in our different communities and to see what we can get out of them, because they are at our disposal and maybe they may not know that we need the service down over in Creek to cut down the rum drinking, as you said. So I'm just saying that if we can engage them in a different way, then maybe we could get a little bit more than what we are getting now.
All right, thank you, sir. Inspector Lloyd, I just asking you to do some correlations for me. You don't have to answer us now. I think you're going to need some research. Because here we are. I had some discussion with some principal and some pastors the other day about some of these things. Here we are, because people have to go home earlier. Is there an increase in domestic violence or those sort of things in these areas that we have the curfew? Yes, I will tell you. Because there are some people who prefer to go home drunk than to go home sober, because they don't want to face the realities of life at home. We have to face the realities affecting all of us. I think it's 60-odd persons committed suicide last year, and 46 are males. So it means that something is wrong. And so just look at the correlation if there's any rise in domestic violence in these areas and how it is affecting these areas. And to just look at mental health, because even with the situation that happened in Mandeville, and where the mother of the child stated in a report that the mental health person said that she didn't have a knife. I don't know, don't quote me. That would have to do whatever with the knife. Where would the police come into all of this? Because it can be anybody. I just happen to know the young lady. I was so surprised it was her daughter because it's a family I know very well. But how is it that we curtail this sort of situation in the town? Yes, we have had some discussion as it relates to mental health and homelessness when we had a meeting the other day. But what is it that the police can do? Because in the same instance, because I also met with Chinese about this thing too, because here we are where these persons, homeless, mental, where they sleep on these spaces, they mess it up after these persons have cleaned up, and then when you go out in the morning, there are feces all over the town, there are some other things. What is it that we can do? How is it that the police can help us to solve this problem? This problem of the stray dogs or dogs all over and all of that. I hear that what's the name? The Society for Things said they don't have an officer or whatever in Mandeville. But we have to do something, and we are relying on the police to help us, because I don't know the law as it relates to how is it that you deal with persons that are mentally challenged and are creating problems on the roadway. You can respond to the ones you think they... You have to stand, please.
I'm going to stand. Regarding the issue of the curfew, yes, persons are having challenges, but we know from the police perspective that we have a lot of migrant criminals in some of our areas. And you all would be aware, last week, one of our members was injured, and one man was fatally shot I'm sorry, Mr. Robinson is not here, in his space.
Okay.
In his space, and that person is not from Manchester. So we have a lot of migrant criminals in our space, and we have persons who are facilitating them. So we have to work in partnership. And in order for us to curtail some of these activities, the curfew will have to help us. So you will have to work with us. Yes, we know persons are being affected, but until we can get these persons and the crime under control in this space, we can't afford to get back where we were with the murder situation last year. So we all have to understand, and we all have to work together. Yes, we have to work together. The doors are open, and persons can come and speak with the superintendent that something can be done in some areas. So yes, Mr. Mitchell, the curfew is a strategy. So we have to work, and you have to work with us. And until we can get the situation under control, the curfew will continue. As it relates to the suicide issues and all of that, those are some issues for another department.
Yeah.
So the police can only treat with some things, and we do make recommendations. So the tanks and all those things that are to be covered, yes, we sensitize persons about their personal safety, and we as citizens, we have to be neighborly. We have to continue to look out for each other, and where there are shortcomings, where there are the elderlies, we have to take some responsibility and to help them and to ensure that they are safe. The partnership is important. Mr. Robinson is speaking about robberies in his space. My record is showing one robbery for now. So are those robberies that he's speaking to being reported? The previous, lastly, I'm not sure they are being reported, because oftentimes you hear by the grapevine that this is happening there and that is happening there, but we don't have any statistics to back that up. The unsound mind persons, I am not sure if that is one for the police or that's what. I am sure that there's some area in the municipality that treats with the persons of unsound mind as also those who are homeless. So I am not sure if that one is really for the police. But we can work in partnership to see how best we can treat with that. But some strategies have to be put in place from the municipality. As it relates to Montpelier, the police goes in. You say the persons are sleeping soundly. So obviously they will not be able to see the blue lights.
No, you cannot. No, Councillor, please take your seat. Hold on for me 1 minute. Could you sit, find your seat for me, sir? You can't talk back at this time.
Yes, thank you, officer.
In the space of 2 weeks, 2 vehicles were recovered in the Montpelier space. So if the police were not in this space, I don't know how those vehicles would have been recovered. So the police are there. So,
hello? The councillor is in junction. Go ahead, ma'am.
so the police continue to work in partnership. Where you have issues and concerns, the offices are open. I am here. The meeting, Councillor Baker, one is being planned by the sub-officer in charge of Porus. So as soon as everything is finalized, you and Mr. Mitchell will be communicated with. As it relates to the domestic violence, Your Worship, this is a serious challenge for us, and we are in the different agencies working with persons, because domestic violence, yes, it is a crime.
Yeah.
But if it is not reported, we cannot treat with it. So we continue to educate and we continue to implore persons to, if you know of persons who are being affected, because that is one of the crimes that not many persons want to report, but we treat with it. My office
Especially when the woman beat the man. Go ahead.
So let us continue to work in partnership. If you know of the situations, we treat and we do referrals. We have the restorative justice and other external partners with which we work to keep those situations under control. So the family situation, persons will have to find better ways in treating with the situations at home. I would recommend that if you are in a relationship and it not working out, move on.
Go to the Lord in prayer.
Some situation, not even divine intervention can fix it. So if it can't work, move on. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We're not repeating the questions again. Eh?
Thank you. I asked the officer a question and I'm not sure he didn't remember to answer that one. Is there a timeline to inform the citizens of an impending or curfew?
I think the persons would have been informed before.
All right. Just a minute. I'm going to allow you, Miss Lloyd, to seek the answers, because I know from time to time they would repeat, so they would do something like a press conference for some, they'll just send out a message for some. But just to be clear, if we could get it, you can WhatsApp me or something, I will share the thing with them. Go ahead, Councillor.
Oh, yes, Mr. Chair. It's just a concern that I have. I've seen in recent time, as you would have mentioned, as it relates to mental health and persons of unsound mind, and how the police treat persons of unsound mind. And you know, you have seen in the past where sometimes lethal force are used, and sometimes I say to persons that any one of us can get off at any time. And but at the same time, what is it that we use to determine where somebody is of an unsound mind becomes an immediate threat to society, and the type of force that is used, or the process that should be observed in terms of, is it that the persons who deal with mental, the office, those persons come in, or if it's a situation where the police has to act, is it that they have to use lethal force, or they have other mechanism can be used to restrain and get these persons the help that they need?
All right. I heard when Ms. Lloyd say that, okay, in the Ministry of Local Government per se, homelessness falls under our jurisdiction, but mental health falls under the Ministry of Health. The question I really had asked is that where these persons would have, at what stage, as Councillor Miller said, at what stage these persons having committed a crime. Because as far as I'm concerned, what the young lady is saying on the video is that here it is that this mental person would have committed a crime. And it could have been worse depending on other things. At what stage it is that the police would intervene.
When it comes to the attention of the police.
Okay. Yeah, she's right, and I tell you why. As a justice of the peace, and sometimes when you go to court, or you hear people talk about some things, if there is no report, the police cannot act. So what we need to do is to make sure that these persons know that they are supposed to report it to the police, so the police can act. Because a man thumping at your face and you don't report it to the police, it's not abuse, a friendly fight. Right, Mr. Miller? Mr. Omar? Yes, sir. And the police said that while the people in Mount Pella are sleeping, the police are driving through so they can't see them. All right? Good.
The point, as I said, Mr. Chair, mental health and sickness, right? We have to, it's a thin line. And therefore, when, you might not know, but therefore, when it comes to restraining or the acting in terms of the police defense, right, in getting order, right, I have seen in the past where lethal force is used, and we are saying that maybe there are other ways to restrain, right, these individuals, because mental health and wellness, any one of us at any time can be affected.
All right, thank you very much, sir. All right, we're at item 7. And this is the time when we go through the agenda fast, you know, because I have a function in Kingston that I'm going to in the mid-afternoon. No, in the mid-afternoon. I can't finish the agenda. I'm not rushing it. I can't finish the agenda. You realize I give a lot of you more time than you ought to get? And there's only one reason I do it, you know. No. I do it for the sake of the students that are here. Not for your sake, because you know the law says you can only speak once on a matter. Okay. Good. Announcements. Any announcements? Go ahead, sir. No, Bryce is not what you think. Go ahead.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Just to announce the passing of Mr. Glenroy Griffiths, father to one of our staff members, Stacey and Griffiths at the Property Tax Unit. The setup is Saturday, March 1st, 2025 at Griffiths Close, Hearties. Funeral service will be held at Royal Flat Seventh-day Adventist Church, Sunday, March 2nd, 2025 at 11 a.m. Interment at Griffiths Close, Hearties. And in regards to the statutory declaration of assets, your chair, I had scheduled online training with the Integrity Commission for the 26th of February at 10:30 a.m. This will be held in the Council Chamber virtually for all councillors and staff members. So I advise or implore you guys to take the time out and come and take part in this training. This will be crucial in filing your declaration. Thank you.
All right, councillors, please note, as soon as we get a confirmation, all councillors will be asked to attend. Well, the staff is Mr. Harrison's portfolio. All councillors should attend. And because it's virtual, we're going to be using the projectors and all of that. So persons are asked to come to ask the questions. Because I see recently some councillors said that they've gotten emails and calls from the Integrity Commission about some information that have been absent and all of that. So we just need to know which questions to ask, what to do, what the law requires. Because sometimes, this is the problem, councillors, that even though times what you get coming from the Integrity Commission is just a question asked, but depends on how it goes out sometimes. Some people might think it's a crime you have committed. It's just that some people have so much money that they don't know which are the bank accounts to declare on. But the law says all bank accounts must be declared on, right? And if you want to avoid them declaring, you don't do, or you don't open no bank account. Keep the money under the mattress. All right? Good. Correspondence? No, account, sorry.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members.
Morning.
I have here the collection report for property tax and trade license for the month of January 2025. Total collection for the month for property tax, $45,165,534.94, and that gives us a year-to-date of $730,811,601.35. In comparison with the previous year, we would have seen a reduction of around 13 million. In January of 2024, we would have collected up to $743,250,800.94. For trade license, collection $635,092.82. We had the property tax mobile unit in the parish during the month of January. I think I announced the dates the last meeting, just to give the report in terms of the collection. So on the 22nd of February, the unit was at Lincoln Missionary Church. 22nd of January, sorry. The unit was at Lincoln Missionary Church. Collection of $1,050,935.32. On the 23rd, we're at New Forest High School. Collection of $1,021,026. And on the 24th, Limit Square, $4,342,859. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. I have just one concern, though, that we are a little bit behind in the collections, right? By 13 million. I don't know what the problem is, but probably I need to have a meeting with the persons who go on the road so that we can hear what are the challenges that these persons are facing. I know there are some concerns about some things in terms of upkeep and all of that and whatever. So we want to have some discussions as to see how best we can make sure the collections are up. Because one thing we have to note, that if the collections continue to decline, it affects every single individual in this room. Everybody. It affects street lights, it affects salary, it affects traveling, it affects almost everything. So let us find a way to, we will meet with them to see if there's any challenges and to look at the way forward. All right, correspondence. Yes, sir, question?
Yes, sir. Chairman, I hear the, I want to thank the officer for the report, but I hear the report about the 713 million thus far and 13 million less. How much is year-to-date percentage that we have?
Okay.
The year-to-date.
At the end of January, we're at 72% of return.
So we're way back in terms of percentage. All right, okay. All right, correspondence none? Other municipal corporations? Okay. We don't reach there yet. From government ministries and departments? Other municipal corporations? Other sources? Report from the president of Alga J.
He is recovering.
What you say, sir? He's recovering from?
From the incident.
Okay, he's recovering from an incident.
From the that particular
Well, you know, councillors, I don't know what the incident was about, but my understanding is that it's a carry-on from what has been happening in the Carolina Parish Council, in terms of they have been having a struggle as to who leads the council. So I don't know that it is. It seems like it has spread over into a meeting that should have been held, but we are hoping that the meeting would be held in the shortest period, so that in 6 months' time, I think the law says. After time will heal. Thank you. Departmental. Confirmation of committee minutes. 1, infrastructure. 2, disaster preparedness. Poor relief, human resource, municipal commercial services, physical planning and environment, local board of health, finance and planning. May I have a motion? Moved by Councillor Bright, seconded by Councillor Oliphant. All in favor? Any against? Any abstentions? Ayes have it. 13 matters referred to committees. From committees, sorry. Physical planning, recommendation of fixing the council's seal to approve subdivisions.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we have 8 such matters that have been approved by the minister, and I will go through them for the affixing of the council seal. Hilton Wright, part of Spitzgen of Spitzbergen, sorry, and Hopefield. Antoinette Boyne, part of Grove Mandeville. Corinne Smith et al., part of Mayday. Delroy Thompson et al., part of Battersea. Judy Rose Schunbein et al., part of Battersea. Battersea, sorry. Meg Jill Hellingsworth et al., part of Caledonia. Patricia Isaacs, part of Shudley. And Alpart Jamaica Inc., part of Not Patrick.
Okay, there you go. May I have a motion? Councillor Kennedy, seconded by Councillor Oliphant. All in favor? Recommendation for issuance of certificate of completion.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we have 7 such.
Okay.
Completion, margination, parts of New Way, Not Patrick. Miss Patrick Harriet, part of New York Penn, Spur Tree. Ethel Ombo, part of Not Patrick. Leonard Batik, part of Spur Tree. Lunette Salmon Ferran, sorry, part of New Forest. Winsome Olness, part of Downs. And finally, Andre Senior et al., part of Tamsworth Heights.
Okay. There you are. councillors, these have been recommended to us from planning that these subdivisions are completed. I now take the motion. Councillor Bryce, by Councillor Knight, all in favour? Any against? Any abstentions? For students, the certificate of completion is when you would have done a subdivision. Some of you would live in areas where there are subdivisions like Mount Pella, all of that. What we do, they have to get final approval from us to say that the water is in, the light is in, the roads are fixed correctly and all of that, so that people can apply for their titles. Questions? In writing. Petitions? In writing. Motion? In writing. Notices of motion? I give one verbally that at the next council meeting, the CEO will bring to us a resolution or a motion to name one section of the Mandeville Cecil Charlton Park in favor of Mr. Shields. We are at item 18. I want to thank everyone for their participation. I want to thank the students for coming in and listening to what is discussed and how their business is discussed. Yes, your business is paramount to us because, like other people would know, Ms. Ashley, you could probably give them some words afterwards, that we are in charge of you from birth to death. Every time you go to your health centers and the health people come here to report what happens, and we get reports on cemeteries and all of that, and markets and everything. So we are responsible for you from the womb to the tomb. So the municipal corporations, unlike some persons don't understand, it is actually the most important agency of government or the parish organization at any one time. So I want to thank you for coming in and listening, and I'm hoping that in your exams, I don't know if they still do civic, but they might ask the questions in social studies, that you will be able to answer some of the questions. Just quickly, the municipality has what? 15 councillors, 15 divisions make up the parish, a CEO and some members of staff and all of that. With item number 18, may I ask, I need a praying man this morning. May I ask Councillor Oliphant to close for us in prayer? May we all stand, please. Huh?
Kind Father, we thank you for the moments that we have spent discussing the plans and the business of the parish for the people. We thank you, O Lord, for the way you have led us. You have brought us here safely this morning. And we ask of you that you'll take us home back safely. And dear Lord, help that our plans, what we'll put into action, we'll be able to implement them as we ought to. And bless our efforts, I pray, in Jesus' name.
Amen. Please be seated. Huh? Is not prize not finished? Well, you see, these meetings are held in the short manner that if you have had breakfast, it would be very unlikely you would need lunch. So, unfortunately. I forget to ask one question. So at the rise of the adjournment, I'm asking one question, no answers until probably next meeting. So just to tell us whether or not at the next meeting, if you have received a list of the roads being done on the Sparks, and if our offices has been asked to sign off on the roads that falls under the jurisdiction of the municipal corporation. Thank you. Item 19. The motion is in order. Moved by Councillor Bryce. Seconded by Councillor Ryan Peart. The meeting now stands adjourned.